Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Memphis Hardwood, wherein the Memphis Grizzlies have started the season. They have played real games, games that matter. And let me tell you, that's the first time, as you know, the Grizzlies have played meaningful basketball games in almost a year, going back to when Ja Morant essentially came back for 9 games last season, got injured, and then was out, right? So here we are. We've got a game to talk about. We got another game on the way tonight. We've got another game the day after tomorrow coming up there. But before we talk about anything related to the Grizzlies, you know him, you love him. We got to get Marvin Stockwell in the mix. Marvin, what's up, man?
Man, I'm so glad to have meaningful basketball back. I mean, games once the season was shot last year, uh, I was chief among the people who found the silver lining, found the narratives because I had to, right? We all had to. And there were some, I mean, it was interesting to a degree, right? But it's like nothing satisfies like, basketball where you're like, it's wide open. There's no way we could go all the way, and to have that be the backdrop and to see all the players back, and then starting to take in the new players, like what's even going on.
Oh, man, it's
It's too
unbelievable.
much fun.
It's too much fun. So the game came on at 8 p.m. my time, which was 7 p.m. your time, right? So isn't that right,
Yeah.
or am I getting that wrong? No, did it come on at 8 or 9?
I'm an hour earlier.
Yeah, I know. So I'm pretty sure that the game started at 8. Oh no, it was 9 o'clock. So that was pretty
Yeah.
late for me, right? So if I was gonna actually stay up and watch the game, I was gonna be up until midnight, and it was just like, oh, can I
Yeah.
do this? But bro, it was the first game of the season. Haven't
You
watched the
toughed it
game in
out.
ages. I absolutely toughed it out, dude. And I made
Yeah.
it to the fourth quarter, and I just literally could not keep my eyes open long enough because I have to get up so early for work. And I went to bed listening to Pete and Brevin. And this was probably 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And the Grizzlies were
Oh yeah.
nursing a small lead. And I went to
Uh-huh.
bed. They were up by like 4, maybe 1. And I went to bed thinking, I sure hope this does not go the way it looks like it might be headed right now. And that fourth quarter of the Utah game, I mean, the Grizzlies had been up by 17 points and in that game.
Hmm.
And now here we go. Like it's getting whittled down, right, to 1 point, right as I'm about to go,
Hmm.
go to sleep. And I'm thinking the
How did
Grizzlies are
you
gonna
go to
blow it.
sleep? That too much
Well,
adrenaline. I couldn't have gone to sleep.
dude, it was just impossible. I have a
Hmm.
I have a 13-month-old baby, and
This
so
is true.
the body gets to a certain point, and it's like, you
Totally.
know, dude, I don't know if I can hold on. But
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, the Grizzlies going into that third quarter. I mean, they had a great first half. And the Grizzlies, aside from Desmond Bain, had been doing pretty well. They go into halftime
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
a 61-50 lead. You're feeling pretty good about it. But then
Yeah.
slowly but surely, the Jazz start battling, early in that fourth quarter, 93-86, 95-88. It's like here they come, right? And by the time you get down to 7 minutes, the game is tied at 102.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously, we have to talk about the most important person from that game, which was Santi Aldama,
Hmm.
hitting 5 3-point shots. Like, in fact, Marv, I've got this little highlight reel I want to show you real quick of
Lay it on me.
Santi Aldama. So these are going to be his highlights from the game the other night. Let's watch Santi real quick. Deck, Aldama, another angle three. Other side of the floor is much better for him. He could not miss from three.
Hmm.
Look at him. Here he goes again. There's another one.
Bam.
And I said at the beginning of this season, Santi Aldama is the X factor for this team.
You did.
What's he
You
going to
did
do?
say that.
Look, Jalen Wells, Santi Aldama providing the assist on that. Jalen Wells
Hmm.
always gets his feet set underneath him when he shoots the three ball. Look, here comes Santi.
Hmm.
3 threes.
Bam.
Not even through the first quarter.
Hmm.
So it was just amazing. Here he goes. 4 threes. 4 minutes left in the second quarter. He's doing his work early, right? And to me, here it is. Number 5.
Yep.
So, I mean, just incredible to watch Santi be so effective shooting the ball because Marvin, there's really to me nothing that the Grizzlies need more than shooting. We've just
Mm-hmm.
always struggled with this.
Sure.
And to have a big man, a 7 foot tall dude who can do that, I'll take it every day, all
Yeah.
day.
Yep. 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 No, Santi was great. Of course, the kind of like sleeper pick of the whole game is, of course, like the most important thing to the Grizzlies, which is that we have John Morant back,
Dude. Yeah,
doing John
exactly.
Morant things.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
not to
Yeah.
take anything away from Santi, incredible game, total X factor. If we can get that type of performance out of him all season long, or even most of the time, we'll be in a really good spot to go really deep.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was great to have Ja back and his backcourt mate, Desmond Bain. The two of those guys putting together just a banner performance. Again, Desmond Bain
Mm-hmm.
really gets going in that third quarter, had a double digit third quarter, which is something that he did a number of times last year. And Pete and
Mm-hmm.
Brevin were talking about it. Brevin was saying, look, it doesn't take much to get Desmond Bain going. So, hey, he may not be hot right starting this first half, but you better believe he's going to turn it on. And the thing I love about Des, he's a three-way scorer. So he can score at the rim. He can score from three. We've seen that too. But he can pull up and he can get you in the mid-range too. So
Yep.
we saw a little bit of everything from Desmond Bain. Obviously, the
Yep.
games it's been talked about extensively in the Memphis media. One of the things that folks have been talking about is Zach Edey and Marv. He's a rookie. That was his first NBA game. He's taken a lot of criticism, right? But like, I mean, what is your read on Zach Edey's first real NBA game?
I just think he laid an egg, but that doesn't. I mean, it's the smallest of small sample size, right? I don't think it's fair to judge him by one game. He is a rookie. I just think he's shown flashes elsewhere in the preseason that give, there are already videos on YouTube, like, Zach Edey's a cheat code. So it's like, it's like which side of him is going to show up? Which side do you want to look at? I just think the potential is there for him to be a pivotal part of this team,
Yeah,
and one game doesn't convince me otherwise.
right. So you're pretty much, yeah, you're pretty much still, you're
I'm
pretty
not
much
worried.
still, you're not worried. I mean,
No.
let's do it, right? Like, of course, he had one game. The game was everybody said the game looked like it was too fast for him. I think that's
Hmm.
probably true. I think the game probably did move a little bit too fast. He fouled out, never had fouled out before, in his time with Purdue. So obviously not used to that happening. I think he played 14, 16 minutes. So very few minutes. That's, two fouls every minute. I think the other thing I haven't heard people talk about this, but we know it's absolutely true. Zion Williamson gets different calls because of his size. Jonas Valanciunas, we saw the same thing. Steven Adams, we saw the same thing. These
Hmm.
guys get different calls. What I mean by that is they are so big that they get hit and hacked in ways that guards would never be allowed to be hit and hacked unless the whistle blew. And
Hmm.
I think he was surprised by that. I think he was surprised by the because I saw him get fouled 20 times and nobody blew the whistle. But it's because he's 7'5". There are just different standards. Shaq,
Hmm.
Charles Barkley, all these
Hmm.
guys who play the game
Yep.
forever. It's just been that way. That's just how it is. And I think that was another factor here. And I think he
Hmm.
felt, well, maybe I can be more physical on the other end as well. But it really doesn't work that way. If you hack a dude on the arm, right, and you're 7'5", you're going to get called for the foul. But if
Yeah.
somebody hits you on the arm and you're underneath the basket and you're 7'5", you may not get that call, right? So I think that's another part of the NBA game he's going to have to adjust to.
Yep.
Is just that physicality, not just the speed, right? But like, what does it mean to be a 7'5" dude in
Hmm.
the NBA?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, if you obviously the guy he replaced, Steven Adams, was just a master of strength and timing. Like enough, highlight tons of highlight reels where Steven Adams like just systematically moves somebody out of the way in an almost like you don't even see it happening unless you really hyper focus on it.
That's
And
a
it's
great
just like
way.
it's
Yeah.
an art,
Well,
right?
and you saw Zach Edey using his body to shield off multiple defenders to allow John Morant
Mhm.
to go to the rim.
Mhm.
So, and Devin Walker was talking about that, the Gortat screen, right? Like you need to be able to screen off multiple dudes to get 12 to the basket. That's part of what
Mhm.
but you have to be able to do that without getting fouls. So how do you play that way? I mean, I think, and Chris Harrington has written extensively about this, big men have a harder time adjusting to the NBA game than guards do.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA game for big men is just so much more, as we're talking about physical, the speed is so much higher than typically you have to operate at the college level, right? But then there's also this factor of how do you play defense and protect the rim, which is that is like probably your first job essentially, without fouling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every new big struggles with that. Look at Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean,
Jaron, I was just about to say,
he
yeah.
ends up winning Defensive Player of the Year. He is a generational talent in terms of being a defender, a 7 foot defender.
Mm-hmm.
But how long did we spend on this podcast and over the last 6-7 years talking about Jaren in foul trouble?
A lot.
Right. And,
A
and I think
lot.
you're going to find that with most bigs who play physical defense. Now, a dude like Draymond Green. I mean, he's not even a traditional big, right? Because he's, I think, only 6'8", 6'10", right? He's not a 7 foot dude. And so he has to use his size and his strength in some ways, right? That 7 foot dudes don't necessarily have to do. But another piece of that, right? Coming back to Zach Edey, why he's struggling, speed, right? Adjusting to the physicality, strength. He got moved off the
Mm-hmm.
spot multiple times. And so some of that is you have to get stronger. Some of that
Mm-hmm.
is you need to know where to put your body. So Steven Adams, what made Steven Adams an elite offensive rebounder was he knew exactly where to position himself in order to
Mm-hmm.
box out his guy and anybody else that may be coming to the basket and get the first hand on the ball. If you notice, even when Steven Adams
Mm-hmm.
didn't get the rebound, he would often touch the ball first. So he
Mm-hmm.
had impeccable positioning under the basket.
Yep.
Dude, Zachy doesn't know any of that shit.
No,
He
he's
doesn't
got to
know
learn.
any of that. Now,
He has to learn.
remember, I'm a huge Steven Adams fan. I'm a huge Jonas Valanciunas fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a big Zach Edey fan. Steven Adams went to the NBA Finals his first year with the Oklahoma City Thunder, beating the
Yeah.
Grizzlies en route to that.
Yep.
2012, I think 2013,
Mm-hmm.
sometime in that
Mm-hmm.
time period. So Zach Edey, right? You can be that guy on a team. I mean, look at the center for the Dallas Mavericks, Derek Lively. Last year, rookie, right? Takes the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals. So you can do that. And it may have been Steve-O took the
Mm-hmm.
Thunder to the Western Conference Finals rather than the
Mm-hmm.
NBA Finals. I think it was the Western. Nevertheless, he goes about as deep as you can go in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Derek
Yeah.
Lively, doing something similar this year. So do I think a rookie big man can be excellent and help your team play at the highest levels? We've seen good examples of it,
Yeah.
literally close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Southwest
Mm-hmm.
Division rivals, Mavericks, and of course our old friend Steve-O, who's now playing for Houston. So Marv, like you, I am not concerned about it. When I look at that game against Utah as a whole, I'm actually impressed the Grizzlies played as well as they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember the offense, right? The new offense has
Mm-hmm.
been a real work in progress all preseason.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't
Yep.
really seen this team perfect that motion offense, 5-out offense, Tomasi Asalo, whatever his name is, right? They're really, really still working that out. And so for them to come in and score 126 points, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
If
Yeah. Yeah.
anything, the defense was not good for the Grizzlies, which I am much, much, much less concerned about over the long run of the season.
Yeah. They'll tighten that up. I want to say, Utah got, it seemed like they got a bunch of like lob dunks,
They did. They got a
you
number
know,
of backdoor lob dunks, and it was
and
on
that feels like
Edey,
bad defense.
Aldama, Huff. Yeah, exactly. And that's a really good point, dude. Like Zach Edey needs to know these dudes are going to backdoor you. Like that is that is just like a classic rookie treatment, like hazing. Like, dude,
It kind of is. Yeah.
like we're just going to take advantage of you. So
Oh my
yeah.
God. Yeah.
Anything else stand out to you about that first game with Utah?
Um, this it's what's the guy's name? Huff,
Jay Huff. Oh yeah,
J Huff.
yeah.
I mean, I was like,
Bass Pro Nas Reed.
what? Is that a thing? Did you just coin that? Or is that
No,
is that already a thing?
I think it was Creamy Cole on Facebook. I mean on Twitter.
Oh
I can't
man.
remember who it was.
One of the pleasures of Grizzlies basketball for me, and it's almost like a Christmas morning kind of thing. It's like it's the present you didn't know you were like, if you make your Christmas list and you might get some of the things you ask Santa for, but then you're like, I wasn't, who is this guy?
Oh,
And he's just
dude,
like raining threes
dude,
and stuff.
dude. He's freaking
What?
amazing. He's freaking amazing. I'll
Just
tell you one
take it,
thing.
you know?
Listen, so on Chris Vernon, dude, I listened to Chris Vernon. I listen to Jessica Benson. I listen to Gary Parrish
Hmm,
almost
hmm,
every
hmm.
day if I have time. I can't listen to them all every day, but I
Yeah.
try, right? At the end of the day, that's my treat is I'll put them on YouTube and then I'll like
Yeah.
listen to them. So shout out to you guys if you're listening to our podcast. I know you aren't, but some of our listeners almost surely, if you're listening to this, you listen to those
They
guys.
should.
Yeah, you
They
should. Yeah.
should listen to
Tune
this
in, right? For the
podcast.
latest, the
Yeah.
greatest. No, it's not the latest, but it might be the greatest takes on the
Yeah.
Grizzly. So I was listening, I've been listening to these guys and Marvin. I would say Verno and Devin Walker, I think, and our friend of the podcast, John Roser. I think that those guys are, I would say, significantly concerned about Brandon Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that their point about why they're concerned about Brandon Clark is a valid one. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But what they did not go so far as to say, and this is what I am going to tell you right now. So if you're listening to this podcast, I don't think, not that I've heard, this take has not been made. I can easily see Jay Huff displacing Brandon Clark in the rotation. And I'm going to tell
Wow.
you why. I'm going to tell you why. This new offense has been set up, European in nature to benefit guys who can move and who can shoot. And Santi Aldama moves so well without the ball. To me, it is not an accident he hit 5 threes in this game. Remember, he did that in preseason at least once, and he hit multiple threes in games in preseason. Dude, we cannot, and I think this could also mean that Zach Edey goes to the bench. I could see a world. I know this is insane, but dude, I'm going to say it right now. Marvin, I'm going to say this.
Go
I
ahead
got
and
to
go
say it.
there. Yeah.
I could see a world where your starting bigs are Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jay Huff. And you platoon Zach Edey off the bench, which is how he started the
Mm-hmm.
preseason, right? I could see you
Mm-hmm.
then deploying Zach Edey off the bench because he will eat bench guys for lunch. He becomes a huge advantage for your bench minutes, especially if you've got a
Mm-hmm.
guy like Scottie Pippen who knows how to get the ball into other dudes' hands. You got
Yep.
dudes like Gigi Jackson who can shoot the ball. You've got dudes like Luke Kennard who can shoot the ball. Like just use him for screens and rebounding in that second unit. And then every once in a while, throw the ball to his hand and see if he can just dunk on some dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Jay Huff in the starting lineup. Here's the reason I feel comfortable saying that, and I don't think it's absolutely ludicrous. Jay Huff won G League Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not just some long, lanky ass dude who can shoot threes. He can do that. He can do that. But he
As he's
also,
showing, yeah.
plays high level defense for a 7-foot dude.
Mm.
So I'm saying it now. I could see a world where
Yeah.
Jay Huff, because dude, think about this. When you look at that, the new Grizzlies offense is based on 5
Mm-hmm.
dudes standing
Mm-hmm.
outside the 3-point line, breaking guys off on the dribble. Once one dude cuts, then you move. That's the way the offense works. One dude cuts or like tries to take a dude off the dribble, then you move, right? And if a dude cuts, then you have to cut to the opposite side. These are the principles that Taylor Jenkins is talking about. Drew Hill
Mm-hmm.
had a really good column about it today in the Daily Memphian.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? That means you need dudes who can stand on the perimeter and be a threat to shoot the ball. Right now, Zach Edey is not that. Right now, Brandon Clark is not that. And I think you're going to have a hard time playing Brandon Clark. And this is what Verno and these other dudes are saying. You're going to have a hard time playing Brandon Clark, in my opinion, if he cannot have a
Right.
reliable mid-range floater game.
Yep.
You're just going to have a
And
hard, yeah.
and I was just gonna say he hit there was some preseason game where I think I want to say he had a few threes. Like
He did.
so
He did hit a couple
yeah,
threes. But
yeah.
dude, that
So
shot looks bad right now, dude. It looks bad.
yeah. Well,
He's going to
I
have to
mean
get it though. I think his career is going to change significantly if he can't get that shit nailed down.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's an interesting take because Jay Huff is a two-way player right now.
He
Wouldn't
is a
that be a
two-way,
reversal of fortune,
but we
right?
still have a 15th open roster spot, bro.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
You've
mean,
got
I'm
50
just
games with him. So I mean, but if it gets to the playoffs, could I see a world
no.
where Jay Huff gets signed, to that last spot for 2 million a year? Yes.
Sure, sure. That would I'm just saying that would be an incredible reversal of fortune and a real diamond in the rough kind of like because who did he just play with that sat him on the bench for
Well, he
last
was, I
year?
think he played for Denver for a minute. The Lakers, I know for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he was in summer league with a team that beat. He really like played well against us in summer league. I can't remember who it was, and I want to look it up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So I mean, hey, we'll see. We'll see. I'm glad that we have that dude on the bench. But to your point, you're like, where did he come from? And why is he so
Yeah.
good?
Yeah. But that's part of the kind of Christmas morning joy, you know. And I haven't even committed to memory what this short point guard's name is.
Scottie Pippen Jr. Oh,
No,
Yuki
no, I don't.
Kawamura. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, yeah, the all the Memphis media, at least those Vernon dudes are super amped about
Oh
Yuki. Did
man.
you see the
Oh, it's
Yuki
gonna be
raise the
fun.
roof? Have you seen that?
No,
Oh,
no.
dude. Okay, and he's also been doing some amazing stuff. He's Yuki's also been doing some amazing stuff because um he and he's been trying to learn English, and I think has been helping him like learn
Mhm.
some things. So let's scope out Yuki raising the roof right here. He's like the world's best hype man. Dig this, Marv. Oh yeah, look at him.
Yes.
He's done it now 3 times. That is after the Santi Aldama alley-oop.
And then he did it after a free throw too.
Did it after a free throw.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that's Yuki. Hopefully you won't forget his name now.
No, Yuki.
Yeah, that's
I
our
will
guy.
not.
He played on that Japanese national team in the Olympics this summer and was sensational. And God, Vernon literally just said he's like Yuki is the most important thing in the world right now. I don't know. He's, he's obviously
Might
joking,
be
but
overstatement, but
yeah, exactly. It's pretty fun. So yeah,
yeah.
man,
Oh,
I'm
this is
looking
gonna be a fun season, man.
exactly.
It
I
already is
think
fun. I'm already having fun.
exactly. I know. I think the fun is back. I think we can all give some thanks for that, right? Like
Totally.
this is what's really important about being a fan, Marv.
Yeah,
So
man.
Grizzlies obviously will be in Houston tonight, taking on our old foe, Dylan Brooks, Fred Van Vliet, and a number of others. Jalen Green. Everybody's so excited about this dude. People talk about
Mm,
Jalen Green, and I don't watch enough like other NBA stuff because I don't have time for it. And it's not my job. People talk about
mm,
Jalen Green like he's this amazing player, and I'm like, okay, I guess I need so watch out for Jalen Green tonight. I know they
yeah.
have Alperen Şengün, a big kind of in the mold of Domantas Sabonis, like a technical, like really skilled big. So definitely
Mhm.
keep an eye out for him. Um, and of course, our old friend Dylan Brooks should be good. They also have Amen Thompson, a draft pick, and then Jabari Smith Jr. Is one of their bigs. So I think it'll be fun. I think this will be a good test for the Grizzlies, Marv. I'm not convinced that the Grizzlies will win this game. Again, it's on the road. It's at Houston. We've already got one under our belt for the road trip.
Mhm.
I think if they come back 1-1, I think that's fine. If they beat Houston,
Yeah.
great. But anything going into tonight, Marv, that you're looking forward to with the Houston Rockets?
I mean, just trying to get the W, but obviously, like our old players, I always feel conflicted.
Yeah,
I always will. I'm that guy.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
for sure.
I love Dylan. Dylan the villain forever.
Yeah,
I'm a lifetime member.
fair enough. I hope we beat them
Yeah,
tonight, though, too.
of course. Yeah, I want to beat him. I want to beat him.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's yeah. Anyway, yep.
Bless his heart.
But yeah, looking forward to it.
Sweet. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Grizzlies will be at Houston tonight. Then they got 4 games in a row at FedEx Forum. And in fact, I will be there in town next Thursday, October 31st, for the Grizzlies game against the Milwaukee Bucks. Hopefully, I'll see some of y'all walking
Killer.
those mean streets of Memphis. In the meantime, y'all take care. Enjoy these games. We'll have 4 games over the next 7 days. That's a lot for the Grizzlies, but we will talk about as many of them as possible when hopefully we come to you live, or at least Marvin and I together live in
Yes.
person for a Grizzlies podcast. All right, everybody, take care. We'll see y'all next week on Memphis Hardwood.